I would start with a black screen, and I would put a little speck of light in the center of the black screen. I have the light grow in intensity, and then like the Big Bang, it explodes.
Just moments ago, we heard from Apple's big entertainment unveiling on stage at Cupertino today. I'd say the most interesting element was the looming presence of the legend, Steven Spielberg. I'm joined by another legend, Variety senior editor, Michael Schneider. Mike, talk about how I think Spielberg was kind of the tip of the spear for Apple's strategy today in terms of presenting entertainment. He had a big presence.
Yeah. This was probably a subtle, or maybe not so subtle, slap at Netflix. Obviously, Spielberg is in a bit of a tiff right now with Netflix over the definition of what's a film, and which is a big deal. This has been a debate for a while. Roma, of course, was a huge contender at the Oscars this year, but there was a lot of concern that this was a movie that most people saw on their screens, on their devices, or on their television, not in the big theaters. And whether or not that should be a contender opposite bona fide films is a debate that continues to rage in Hollywood. And Spielberg very much has his own opinion that no, these are not films. These are television projects and should be up for Emmy Awards, not Oscars. That's caused quite a bit of a stir among the Netflix loyalists.
I felt like it was the subtext of what he was saying on stage today, what he was shown in clips at the Apple event doing. It was all about tub thumping for Amazing Stories, this new series, this revival of his classic franchise. It also felt like Apple was using him to say, hey, we are all about the best in craftsmanship when it comes to storytelling. I thought they did it effectively.
Yeah. I mean, it was no mistake that he was the first person up. That sent a huge message immediately to the people in the audience and watching the live stream, which is we're not joking around here. We are serious about creating some real fantastic content. Spielberg is someone who has done a lot of television over the years, especially his Amblin TV label, has done some great stuff. So for them to go after him to help launch the service, it definitely was a smart move.
That said, let's put it in context. It's not as if there was some sort of exclusive deal where Spielberg is only producing for Apple. He's free to do whatever he wants across town. I think all the talent that they had, and let's talk about some others where you're talking about Oprah and M. Night Shyamalan, some really talented people on both sides of the camera, but they're free to do whatever they want beyond just this Apple deal.
Yeah, and you had some talent who already have big deals set up at other companies. Oprah Winfrey has a huge deal at Discovery, including an entire network called OWN. So that was a bit unusual, the fact that she announced a huge new book club, not for her own network, not for her partners at Discovery, but for Apple. You had Sesame Street. Sesame Workshop has a new show that they're doing for Apple. They have a big deal at HBO, which is another competitor to Apple. So in some ways, you had Apple sort of coming out and saying, we have your talent now. They're in our house, and they're about to do some amazing stuff for us. So stand back. We are a new player, and we're going after you.
Another great director who was there besides Spielberg was J.J. Abrams. The two directors are actually kind of twinned in a lot of people's minds, a very similar brand. What do you think about what Abrams could bring to Apple? Because he's quite a name.
Well, and Abrams is someone who for years was identified with Disney. So speaking of another company that's in this space that Apple is going after, Abrams is doing a show with Sarah Bareilles that's a sort of a music-based drama, but he's got a lot of things up his sleeves, including a new show with Jennifer Garner, of course, from Alias, his famous show that he did for Disney's ABC back in the day. So again, these were all very calculated moves to bring out this talent that previously has been identified with other major corporations. Now they're in Apple's house.
Do you think we're at the beginning of perhaps a new battle in the streaming wars where whether you're Netflix or Amazon, there's going to be certain talent, particularly from the director-producer side, where you're going to want to keep them in the fold as being part of, say, the Apple family or the Netflix family?
Yeah, and we've obviously started to see it with Ryan Murphy and Shonda Rhimes, of course, over at Netflix. Netflix also has the Obamas, which is not bad. Apple has Oprah, but Netflix has Barack and Michelle Obama. So this is definitely a new arms race, and the biggest talent are going to have to decide where they're going to set up shop.
Well, Mike, it'll be interesting to see what Spielberg is going to bring to Apple. That and a whole lot more coming to the streaming service in coming months. Can't wait to see it.